Oh, hey there. Harken back with me a few years to the beginning of my fledgling days on the Dice Tower doing reviews, right? Remember, I did a review about Caverna Cave versus Cave, in which I put the big version of Caverna in the microwave, and then I took out the small one and made reference to Back to the Future too, right? Now, what if I told you, what if we were to let that game bake just, or cook, or nuke, whatever you call it, in the microwave just a little bit longer, to bake and just boil down and become even more flavorful? What if I told you that's what we're going to talk about today? The idea that if you leave this in here just a little bit longer, you end up with Cave versus Cave Era 2, the Iron Age. Although it doesn't say that anywhere on the box, it just says Era 2. What is this? Is it an expansion in which you just add more goodies to the main game, or is it something completely different? Let's take a look right now at what Cave versus Cave Era 2 adds to the game, if it's worth you picking up or not, and then we'll come back up and talk about all that sort of stuff right now. So have you ever had a meal and the dessert comes out and it's basically just a dessert form of the same meal that you just ate? Like if you were eating cheese souffle and they brought you a cheesecake, right? That's a little bit what's going on right here in Era 2 of Cave vs. Cave. It's actually the weirdest expansion I've ever seen. The instructions say, play a regular game of Cave vs. Cave. And then once it's over, tally up your points and then add this board. And you actually can already start with that one if you want to, because it's just an extended resource board. And then you're going to go up to the top over there and you're going to add some extra boards over to the old action selector board. And then you're going to get rid of your last action from the main board. So what if, I've never seen an expansion do this, but basically what happens is here, you're going to get more of the same. You're going to get 4 turns in which you get more buildings out there, more actions out there to basically do kind of the same thing you've been doing the whole time. Now there are 4 new resources. You get donkeys, you get some iron, you get some shields or weapons, and then you get coal or some sort of black sooty looking mineral. But the whole point is it's more of the same. There are a few additions in this board right here. This is the new action selector board. There's a few things in it that happen. Basically, you get some additional actions that happen at the bottom of these. So when you take this action, before, during, or after you take the action, you get to do the things at the bottom there. So any number of times you can trade iron into shields, which basically are worth 1 point each. Gold is now, at the end of this era, only worth half a point each, and so are the blue things there. So it's just a way to get more points. Plus, your donkeys will give you a black resource per donkey you have. So it's just an interesting way to get more points, but basically it's just 4 more turns of 4 rounds each. And that's it. That's everything that this game offers. It adds some new buildings and new actions, but it's pretty much it. It's more of the same. So again, not much to show you here because there's not much to really talk about. But let's talk about the thoughts behind it right now. So that's all there is to Cave vs. Cave Era 2. I think it's called the Iron Age elsewhere in the instructions, but it doesn't actually say that on here. It just says Era 2, which is kind of interesting. What do I think about Era 2, and should you pick it up? Is it an essential expansion? Well, no, it's not an essential expansion. In fact, what this really feels like to me is people complain a lot of times about their engines being built and the game ending, right? And I feel like this was the response to that of, oh, well, you like your engine to get built, but then they feel like your game's going to end too soon. Well, how about 4 extra rounds of 4 turns each, or 4 actions each, to really see how those engines are flowing? And I feel like that's what this era feels like. Now there are some added tweaks, obviously, with the donkeys and the coal and the different resources. I do like the extra building spaces. Plus, I like the fact that you score so much more based on what you have this time. But I like the way it all plays together, but it just doesn't feel like it's necessary. And usually I don't say that when it comes to an expansion. I'm a very pro-expansion person, but this one is just one I do like what it adds, but is it necessary? No, not really. I mean, it doesn't feel like it just tacks on another game at the end. It just kind of feels like it's like I said, it feels like it was, hey, you like your engine to see how it really plays? Here's 4 more turns to see how it really plays. And if that's your thing, then great. But if it's just like more of the same, which it is, it's more of the same, then this is the pass for you, obviously. So I'm kind of torn really on where I feel about Cave vs. Cave. I feel like it's less essential than it is more essential, obviously. So if you're looking at picking up this expansion, if you can find it for a good deal, then definitely pick it up, because obviously the few things that it does add are neat. But my main question is, will there be like an Era 3 where it tacks the game out to whatever it is right now? It's 12, 15, 16, 18 turns, right? I wonder how many turns it'll be, 20 turns.
But I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's what's coming. I do like the way the boards look together. It really looks, it's that great Caverna look. But will it be a long-lasting expansion that people talk about years from now? I don't know, because Cave versus Cave is kind of a weird game anyway, right? I like it in its condensed version of Caverna, but I like Caverna more, obviously. So an expansion to a game that I don't like as much as the regular game is interesting. Does it make it better than it was? Yes, in a sense, but only if you're in it for the long haul. If you realize that it just adds time, not much depth, because you literally play an entire game of Cave versus Cave, and then the last 4 turns turn into another era. So that's what I think about Era 2, the Iron Age from Cave versus Cave. Until next time, make sure to follow me on Twitter at @TheLatestRetro, and we will see you right here on the Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower